Hello and welcome to Boardgame Bonkers. This is the Bonkers Show, and today we're going to cut through the AI Showdown. My name's Jay Sears. What is the AI Showdown? Well, we're going to put AI to the test, in particular Alexa. Now, what we're going to vary this for each of our Bonkers Show's AI Showdown. So each one will be different. We'll do 5 of these AI Showdowns, and in the future we may continue this on our Patreons. Now, bear in mind that AI does have some limited capabilities. Now, what are those? Well, it depends on how it's been programmed by the individual or teams. Now, let's take Alexa, for example. It scours the internet for information to feed into its app. And that's like similar other programs like Leonardo, for example. And these programs and apps that scour the internet to create images, they've simply taken it from what already exists and haven't yet developed its own intelligence and smartness, because that relies heavily on how it's programmed and coded by the individual teams. For me, I felt that AI should have evolved a lot quicker, and I'm sure you have cars that can self-drive now, but if you actually look closely, those cars can't actually do everything it wants to do or should be able to do. Certainly in today's world, where I would have expected us to see flying spaceships, but yet, yes, we've got flying cars, but they're limited and they can't quite fly on their own. It's not quite autonomy in terms of being able to make all the decisions itself without some type of assistance. And it's no different to the likes of Alexa and other similar apps and AI assistants, where it relies heavily on the input coding done by an individual or team, and that's limited. I would have expected AI to have been able to develop a form of intelligence and to learn and develop over time, but we haven't quite gotten there. So Alexa in particular is limited by what I feed into it, how it understands those questions, and what information it takes from the internet. Now, we tested this with just a couple of questions, did quite a bit of research looking at how Alexa would cope with complex questions and its struggles. So we have had to keep our questions very basic. So today we're going to present 10 questions to Alexa. We're going to draw them from this bowl. They're going to come out randomly. We have no idea what the questions exactly will be. Yes, I've written some of the questions, some of them I haven't. So this will be interesting. Now, the second interesting point here is that Alexa struggles with particular accents, especially Scottish. I'm sure they've designed it to be anti-Scottish because it struggles with my accent. So it'll be interesting to see how we go through this journey of asking it 10 questions. This is fun. I want you to play along as well. Think about what questions you might ask Alexa in the board gaming world. We've seen content creators show that the likes of Alexa and other similar apps can assist you in playing a game. That's right, it can work out certain moves and it can teach you how to play certain games, although not that well. So it hasn't quite developed as I would have liked to have seen AI develop. Sure, you have ChatGPT and other similar programs that assist you, but again, it's limited by the input and coding done by individual teams. So that capability is limited, and that isn't vast, it isn't developed to think on its own feet and continue to grow and evolve naturally. It's limited by those bunch of codes input into the program. So keep that in mind. Now let's get on with presenting 10 questions to our AI. Now, we covered this in an Underneath a Light show. If you haven't seen that, please check out the videos. We've got a playlist for that, where we present 10 questions to a guest. We're going to do something similar and present 10 questions to Alexa. So let's get to it. I think Alexa's trying to talk. No, it's not. It's getting confused. Okay, so let's test Alexa first, make sure it works. Alexa, what day is it?
I couldn't find any enabled video skills that can do that. Go to the Alexa app to manage your...
Alexa, be quiet. So we can see Alexa just doesn't understand me. This will be fun. Let's try the first question and let's see what we've got. I just hope this works. Okay, so we've got one. Okay. Oh, this is interesting. Alexa, are any board games on Board Game Geek Top 100 overrated?
Here's something I found on reference.com. Highly rated board games include Bonkers, Think Fun, Rush Hour, and The Settlers of Catan. Each of these games has more than 4.5 out of 5 stars from user ratings on Amazon.com as of June 2015.
Okay, not quite what I was asking. Let's ask it a different way. Alexa, on Board Game Geek, are any board games
This
over...
might answer your question. Board games are tabletop games that typically use pieces. These pieces are moved or placed on a pre-marked board and often include...
Alexa, be quiet and stop interrupting me when I'm talking.
I didn't catch the other thing you said.
Alexa, shut up. So Alexa doesn't answer that question correctly, but it gives a narrative on some classic games, Catan, etc., and how they are rated and ranked on Board Game Geek, but doesn't quite answer the question, tell me, are any board games overrated on Board Game Geek? Instead, it gives me a bit of a different narrative to that, and also interrupts me and doesn't shut up when I'm talking. So that's interesting. That quite clearly is being coded and programmed to give very specific, streamlined answers based on the internet. Let's see how it fares with question 2. That was a bit of a failure, so hopefully we will get better. Okay, question 2. Alexa, are board games over-convoluted these days?
From InsiderMonkey.com. Board games have been seeing a decline in popularity all over the world since people have switched to other forms of entertainment, such as watching content on Netflix Incorporated.
Alexa, do people play more board games today than they ever have before?
This year alone, nearly 3 billion people are playing games on their mobile phones around the world.
No, that was my question, Alexa. Are people playing more board games today?
Sorry, I don't know that.
So we'll ask it a different way. Alexa, are board games overcomplicated today?
Sorry, I'm not sure.
Let's ask Alexa a different way. Alexa, are board games too complicated?
From wisebread.com. Board games can be complicated.
Okay, that was insightful. Thanks so much for that, Alexa. Quite clearly, it's giving you very short answers, but of course they are short questions. So Alexa's struggling to pull this information in. Well, fair any better. So far, Alexa's failing. Is struggling to understand the board gaming concept. So let's see what question 3 brings. So question 3. Alexa, how many board game mechanics are there?
From crummy.com. Board Game Geek lists 80 categories and 44 mechanics.
Well done, Alexa. We've got a great answer. Okay, don't interrupt me. Great. So, three down, third time lucky, has answered the question correctly. Way! So, that's 1 done. Let's see how far we can go with getting these rest correctly answered. So, question 4 for Alexa. Alexa, what's your favourite board game?
Good question. Definitely the Cones of Dunshire.
What is the Cones of Dunshire? Alexa, what is the Cones of Dunshire?
From urdupoint.com. There are many synonyms of uncharted, which include alien, concealed, distant, exotic, far away, foreign, hidden, remote, undiscovered, unexplored, unidentified, unmapped, unnamed, little known, etc.
I'm confused. Let's have a look at what Board Game Geek says. So, according to Board Game Geek, the game of Cones of Dunshire is based on a fictional game, Cones of Dunshire, seen on the NBC television programme Parks and Recreation. Well done, Alexa. It has got a sense of humour. That's tripped me up. That's quite smart, because I wasn't expecting that. Were you? Because I certainly wasn't. A one-off charity live event version was hosted by Mayfair Games at Gen Con in 2014. The box contained a souvenir t-shirt and nothing else. The game was never published. So that's quite smart. I was quite impressed. I was not expecting that. So Alexa, starting off really poor, is now, let's stop talking. Alexa is certainly pulled through. Let's see how we go with the next question. So we're in question 5. Now, this one is quite a deep question. Let's see how it goes. Alexa, do board games need to be more culturally diverse?
This might answer your question. Board games are tabletop games that typically use pieces. These pieces are moved or placed on a pre-marked board and often include elements of table, card, role-playing, and miniatures games as well.
Have you noticed it didn't let me finish the question? It's too keen to jump in. It needs to behave itself. It's a bit like a child where you're trying to talk and it interrupts you every 5 seconds during your sentence. So let's see if we can get this in. Are board games culturally diverse?
Board games are tabletop games that typically use...
Shut up, Alexa. Let's try and avoid the word board games so we can cut around this. Are we playing games that are culturally diverse?
From xu.edu. We will be playing a curated selection of games for platforms including Steam, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so I can't understand that question. Maybe that's too deep in the philosophy and understanding of socially diverse cultures playing different board games. So let's move on to our next question, number 6. Let's see how it fares with this. Now, I knew Alexa would struggle with some of these questions. I didn't feel it would struggle this much, and I'm quite surprised it's struggling to pick up or even let me finish a sentence, and it's a short sentence, a short question, and it's cutting in to immediately find information around board games and just board games and miss out the rest of the context. Let's see how it goes with question 6. Will the use of AI put artists out of a job in the board game industry?
From techbullion.com. In conclusion, while AI has made significant advances in recent years, it cannot replace game artists.
There we have it. I have to agree with that. And there's been a few talks and discussions about the use of AI in board games. I actually put that question to some of our guests in Under the Maple Light show. And I think everyone's got a same concept of consent around AI is stripping it from the internet, work that's already been created by a human, and then panning it off as if it's its own with just a few changes. Well, that's essentially stealing, isn't it? So it's no different to me taking a patterned piece of work and then making a few changes and panning it off as my own. I'm stealing somebody else's idea. So I agree with what Alex is saying. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you agree with AI and how that's been used in board games, particularly around the use of art? Let us know what you think. So let's now move on to our next question. I think we're on question number 7. Let's double check. Yeah, 7, 9, 7. I have no idea. I've lost count now. Well, yeah, I think we're on 7. This is what Alexa does. It confuses you because I'm confused which one we're on. Let's see how it fares with this one. What's the most widely used board game mechanic?
From geekyhobbies.com. The game's basic mechanic involves rolling dice.
Okay, I hope that's not roll and move, although there are literally hundreds of thousands of games with roll and move, but certainly dice is the main used mechanic. That's interesting. I wonder how accurate that is. Okay, let's now move on to our next question. And we're going along nicely. So, which board game do you dislike the most?
Well-known examples of board games are chess, backgammon, Scrabble, and Monopoly.
Okay, let's ask it in a different way. Which board game do you hate?
One moment while I find a selection of books for you. Based on your purchase history, here's a book from the humor and entertainment section you might like. Would You Rather Survival? A collection of hilarious hypothetical questions. Clint Hammerstrike asks Book 3 by Clint Hammerstrike. The Kindle ebook is $1.99. You can ask to hear a summary, or to keep browsing. Try saying something like recommend Adelia Owen's book, or just say next recommendation. To leave the experience at any
Alexa,
time.
recommend a board game book.
One moment while I find a selection of books for you. I wasn't able to find a book that matched your request. Try requesting recommendations
Alexa,
from another genre.
So it's interesting. Well, it hasn't answered the question, has it? And now you know. Well, I do have a bit of a sense of humour. Might be dry, but I do have a sense of humour. When's the last time I bought a book that was about humour and jokes? I need to have a look at my books. I can't remember. But instead of answering the question, it's gotten round it like a politician, giving you a completely different answer. And I can't even find board game books. Interesting. So it's got a sense of humour in finding the cones of Dunshire, but it hasn't got a sense of humour in finding the game it dislikes and which one it doesn't like. Well, of course, it's an AI, it's not a human. Let's now move in. We've got our last two. So let's take this one and let's see how it fares with number 9. Is it easy to design a board game?
I don't know that one.
How easy is it to make a board game? Okay, it's ignored me. So it doesn't know and it's ignored me. Okay, so obviously we'll ask it a different question, a different form. How hard is it to be a game designer?
Today, you can expect a high of 17 degrees Celsius.
Okay, Alexa, clearly you're getting confused with the type of what a weather is and how it is to be a board game designer, aren't you? Yes, because you can't find it. So let's move on to our next question because Alexa is now confused. In fact, I think I've overridden and fried its AI brain because it just cannot answer that question. In fact, it started off poor. It gathered some interesting thoughts and processes to bring itself together and answer the questions great in 3 and 4. And then it started to slide down again into oblivion of I've got a clue and I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to give you some random information. So let's see if it can end with a winning answer. Can board gaming be an addiction?
This might answer your question. According to the NHS website, addiction is a treatable condition. Whatever the addiction, there are lots of ways you can seek help. You could see your GP for advice or contact an organization that specializes in helping people with addictions. This is only general information and does not constitute medical advice. Consult a healthcare professional if you have a medical problem.
Okay, it hasn't quite answered the question. It's answered it in addiction. And addictions can be quite severe for a lot of people. And whether people agree or not, people in board game space can have addictions with board games for different reasons. But let's ask it in a different way. Can gaming be an addiction?
From alibabarcloud.com. Gaming can be a fun and social activity, but it can also be addictive.
Okay, so there we have it. We've put 10 questions to AI Alexa, and I would say only 5, that's pushing it, out of 10 that Alexa's managed to answer. Of course, 2 out of that 5 have answered correctly. I've had to rephrase the questions, but it's given me a answer, a simplistic, basic answer. There have been a couple of deeper answers, but not relating to the questions I've asked, which really demonstrates that AI, and although Alexa's its basic form, certainly isn't at the level that we would expect or like, certainly for me. I would expect in this day and age, the likes of Alexa to be far more sophisticated and intelligent in the way it answers questions. And it clearly seems the way it's been coded is so simplistic and basic. And while that's fine for most home users, that's great. It certainly isn't going to help you answer in-depth deep questions about the board gaming world. So it might be best that we stick to bringing on guests in the show and asking them board gaming related questions. So if you haven't already done so, check out the Under the Meeple Light show, which is super fun based on this concept and a lot more interesting in the answers that they give. The next time we do an AI showdown, we will be playing some games with Alexa. Yes, we're going to play some basic games. We're going to see how it fares and competes against me. That'll be interesting. So if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. Give our video a thumbs up, not for Alexa because it couldn't answer my questions. And please leave a comment down below. Maybe you think we've asked Alexa the wrong type of questions in the wrong way. Of course, we didn't rehearse this. We want this to be as natural as possible. But it has got a sense of humour. Coming up with the cones of Dunshire, I would never have thought of that. So it has got a bit of a humorous side. So I hope you've enjoyed that. My name's been Jay Sears, and until next time, take care.
This is Bonkers.